Oh, baby. You already know it's everyone's favorite time of the month. Everybody's favorite. We got two hot ones coming up here for you. First video, the one we're doing right now, going to be our monthly recap of the portfolio. Where we at? Obviously, we added some funds here. Also have wanted to show you guys too. Did roll over my previous 401k. Just kind of wanted to show you where I ended up putting those assets into. Decent amount of money, not anything crazy, but wanted to show you kind of how I allocated that. But hey, as you can see, not didn't include it in the total balance. You know, our retirement accounts we don't include in our total balance here. Just our normal taxable brokerage accounts. Um, but anyways, our second video, we're going to be talking about the dividends. Everyone loves to see those dividends we earned. It was a pretty good month here for us, but let's just see. Let's see how our performance was this month from an account standpoint. Well, we looking. Yeah, you're seeing that right. Down nearly $5,000 here this month. It was a pretty bad month. September historically just typically is a bad month in the market. So it's not anything necessarily shocking there. Um, it's just how it is. I don't know what to tell you. So pretty rough to see. You see our main accounts here, 136 on our individual, 6,000 in our joint. Then we get into the retirement accounts. We'll dig into those too. The Roth at 32,000. Our rollover now at 19,000. Um, yeah, I got my fiance's IRA in there too, which I've taken care of that one as well. So pretty excited there. Um, love to do this stuff. So first, let's go into our individual account. We're just gonna go position by position, kind of tell you how things are looking there. What we kind of added to. Well, this month there was really one main position that we added to. We'll get into that later. Is actually an ETF as opposed to a specific stock. Kind of lame, I know, but that's okay. Let's just go down the line, and we go alphabetical by symbol, not by name of company, by symbol. See how we're doing there. So let's start with we've got the Apple Incorporated. Apple, my second biggest position that I own, took a pretty big hit here this month. I mean, we're talking about probably it was somewhere around a $20 decrease on a per share basis this month. It hurts. We've got let's just say 50.5 shares. I'm going to round that up. I mean, we're still up massively, about $5,000 or 143%. Not too bad at all. Yeah, not terrible. Then we've got AbbVie following that. We've got AbbVie, about 10.4 shares here of AbbVie. A pretty big here on this one. I mean, for what it is, it's a pretty small position, but we're still up 41% on it, about $1,500 worth. So not too bad. Arbor Realty Trust, we had a pretty decent time here this month on Arbor Realty Trust. 206.97 shares. Obviously, one that pays a massive dividend over 11%. Which is being reinvested. So this position continues to grow without me actually buying or acquiring more shares. So that's kind of crazy. Love to see it. And we're having some capital growth here too. Some capital gain. It's good. You're seeing share price growth. I love it. 27% up or $670. I'm in it for the 11% yield, but I will definitely take. I'll definitely take some growth as well. We've got AMD, 15 shares there. Nothing too wild here. Not a massive position, but we're up around 24% on this one as well. $1,500 roughly. So, I mean, it's not a small position, I suppose. Amazon following them, they've also had a kind of a tough time here. 16.18 shares. Just got tired. Middle of recording. Who knew that was coming? So, kind of a rough time. FTC announcing a lawsuit there. An absolutely bogus lawsuit, by the way. Not going to go anywhere. 6.65% up or $120. So nothing crazy at all. Apple Hospitality. Another Apple. Different Apple here, though, okay? 116.6 shares. This one pays a nice monthly dividend here as well, so I love seeing the position grow. But we had some share price appreciation too, around $199 or 12%, so nothing crazy. Apollo Commercial Real Estate, ARI, 189.8 shares there. And that one we are down on. Look, let's be real. most of the REITs in the real estate sector, these took a really big hit this month. And a lot of it stems from, the Fed talking about interest rates being higher for longer, and that's not necessarily too shocking. Um, it's just rough out here. That's all I can tell you. Okay, so we've got that. Down about 10% there. Not great. We are up when it comes to dividends because it does yield around 13% right now because of how far the share price has fallen. But hey, I'll just be enjoying the dividends in the meantime. I like the fundamentals of the company. I don't think they're going anywhere. Just kind of a rough patch for them in the mid-time here. Activision Blizzard just waiting on that acquisition from Microsoft. We've got 15 shares. Sorry, up around $250 or 21%. Not too bad. Bank of America. This one's been a piece of garbage. Kind of hard to be in this one right now. It's not necessarily a massive position here for me. Just it's kind of tough right now. 50 shares here. This one down $197 or 12%. I mean, it's just been bad, and I think this is something the financials are going to be taking a hit here. Probably in the next, I'd give it at least a year's time frame here. So I think that's going to be, I hate to say it, but kind of dead money in the meantime. I mean, yielding around 3% is not terrible, but but the assets could be used for better things. So sorry about that. So you could consider selling that off and potentially adding that to, frankly, I think it's something where there are other positions that could be performing better, so could move the money there. I don't know. I just, I like the valuation of it, so I think I'm going to stick with it as much as I've considered getting rid of it. Citigroup, 22.7 shares there. Down $173 here on this one as well. Another financial getting destroyed, 15% down. Carnival, we're still up pretty big on this one. For the sake of our covered call here, which does expire on October 27th. So by next month, I'll probably have a new covered call written by the next video we do. So I'm excited about that. This one's for sure going to expire worthless. I definitely had a fear for a while there. And if you do see, this was originally a $17 call for $10.20, and then I lowered it to a $16.50 so I could get a little bit extra income. I can't remember what I made there. It's probably like $13 or something, so nothing crazy. But hey, it's not too bad on the position itself. We're up around $199 or 17%, so not too bad at all. Costco, an absolute beast of a company. Just continues to chug along. We've got just 3 shares here, but $560 share prices. Pretty massive. We're up 30% or $396. We love Costco. We love it. We love it. Cisco Systems recently announced a potential acquisition of Splunk. Kind of wild too. You don't see this company. I mean, you can tell they're really trying to bolster growth, and that's why they're making this acquisition. Pretty happy with where the shares have gone for me right now, up around 20%. I mean, nothing crazy, about a 3% yield, so it's boring, but it's not a massive position either. So Disney, the biggest piece of garbage that I own. I think the long-term thesis is there. I still think it is. They've just made some decisions that have baffled me, and I think that eventually they'll get back in the good graces and things will be fine. Should have sold it when it was at 160, a year and a half ago. Should have done it, but I didn't do it. But that's okay. So instead, we're down 31% or $1,100. That's painful. That's painful. Domino's Pizza, nothing great here either. I mean, I bought this one for stability, and it's been relatively stable. Nothing crazy. It's a classic value stock that just, investors aren't really in value right now. I do think that's a trend that maybe potentially could shift here coming into next year. A lot of more small cap and potentially more value companies getting getting the nod as people kind of get out of tech. I think it's going to happen. It's just how cycles work. But anyways, we got 4 shares of Domino's Pizza, up around $36, 2%, nothing crazy. Ford, 162 shares. Our covered call did expire here on this one. Not sure if I'm ready to necessarily sell another covered call just yet. I'm not sure of this price action. It didn't go off of, traditional trends. I mean, like I said, when I sold the covered call, this was, a month ago, and my expectations was it was going to take a, 2 to 3 month period for it to reach this price of $12 a share, and it did it in a much quicker time than I imagined. So it's kind of off the traditional pricing pattern. I do think there is a high for this at 15. I just don't know where that necessarily is going to, when is that going to hit? I don't know. So we'll see. But we're up pretty big on this one. $492 or 32%, not too bad at all. Gilead Sciences 15.75 shares there, up 175 bucks, 17%. Gladstone Capital just shy of 100 here, 99.33. After the next dividend, we will have 100 shares, so that's pretty cool. Up 3% here, $29. It does have a 10% yield, so that's kind of why I'm in it, but nothing crazy there. Alphabet or Google. Alphabet Class A, we've got 10.1 here. We are up. It's been a nice performer, up $362 or 37%. Not too bad. Home Depot, 2.04 shares there. We are up 31.85 or $149. Not a massive position. Neither is the next one, HP Incorporated. 26.95 shares here. We are relatively neutral, down 0.7%. This one's just kind of a stinker. Nothing great here. It's just a boring company, so not shocking. Eventually might move the assets out of there now that I'm relatively break even. It might be a good time to get out of it. The valuation is still dirt cheap, so I just don't know. It's tough to get rid of those cheap value companies, but I might have to do it. Then we've got Hercules Capital. 113.7 or 67 shares. Not bad. It's got a great yield on it, over 10%. We're up around 8% on the shares itself. About $139 gain here, so nothing crazy. IBM 6.3 shares. This one's been pretty good here for me. Relatively small position, but I'm up 17% on $129. Pays a good dividend. Not too bad. Intel. Now this one's also a piece of garbage. We've seen some recovery, so that's nice to see. Just a hint of recovery. 16.78 shares there, down $245 or 29%. So that one's a stinker too. Stinker. Used to be down a lot worse, to be fair. iRobot 10 shares here. This one's a piece of garbage. We are down $136 or 26%. That one's an absolute garbage. I bought it as an arbitration play, and nothing's come to fruition. I just want it to be over with, and I want Amazon to buy these shares, even if they're at $39. I don't care. Just do something for me, man. Iron Mountain. This one's been a beaut for me, as you know. One of my biggest gains as far as a percentage gain here. 60.82 shares. Had this one forever, so we're up around $1,500 on 1,500, or 78%. Sorry. Not too bad. Coca-Cola Company, 16.372 shares there, up 23%, $23 I should say, or 2%. It's an absolute stinker, boring. But that's why we have it. You have to have some boring companies in there. You can't have every stock be a winner. You have to have some consistent ones. Kohl's, speaking of consistent, this one is not. 91 shares here. We are down pretty big, 24.94%, or $633. Great dividend on it. I believe in the long-term prospects here from a value play. I mean, it's going to earn the dividend. It's going to, share price is going to come back to $30 a share eventually by, in my opinion, by the end of next year, I think it will. It's not going anywhere, okay? Lockheed Martin, 2.02 shares. We are down actually pretty decently, 11% or $104. Not great here at all. Lowe's, another small position, 2 shares here, up $121 or 40%, so pretty good. Main Street Capital, 48.85 shares there. We are up around $278. Not too bad. So, and that one is about a 7% yield. There, pays monthly, so I'm in it for the dividend. Meta Platforms, she's still a beaut. Oh, up massively on Meta. 32 shares. I don't know why I've never been more tired in my life all of a sudden. The yawns just won't stop. 32 shares here. We're up massively, as I said, 62% or the equivalent of $3,687. I love that this is, right now, one of really my second biggest position. I'm happy to have it that way. Um, it's going to be great and perform really well over the next several years as well. Microsoft, 11.4 shares. Nice, pretty big position here too. $3,600 there. Um, we are up massively on this one to 80% or $1,600. Pretty good. Micron Technologies, 10.07 shares there. We are up $228 or 50%. Not too bad. Neo, we talk about this one. It's still garbage. Eventually, I'll sell it off. 25 shares. I mean, we're up 489%. But again, we want more than that. We want it to come back, baby. Nvidia, what do we got to say about them? 6 shares here, Nvidia. The cost basis is just inaccurate on this one, okay? So it says I'm up $2,000. I swear I'm not. So that's unfortunate. Come tax time, I just have to hold it forever. Can't ever sell it. How about that? I'm fine with that. New York Community Bank, 48.5 shares there. So it's a small position here for me. Up $38 though, or 7%, which is pretty nice. Not too bad. Realty Income. This one's been one of the worst performing REITs in the last month and over the last couple months here. It's actually really, really bad now that I'm down massively on it. We're talking about $508 down or 15%. This one's been taking a big hit. The monthly dividend company, so kind of wild off my 56 shares. It hurts. Omega Healthcare, 92.47. Another REIT here. This one's been performing well though. $352 up, or 13% plus an 8% yield. Pretty nice. Penn Entertainment, another piece of garbage. 25 shares here, so it's a pretty small position, but we are down 38% or $355, so that hurts. PepsiCo, 6.1 shares there, up around 3.5% or $35. So, it's one of those boring companies, doesn't do too much, hasn't done too much for me here. Plug Power, 10 shares, down massively. I mean, down 63%, or $134. What a piece of garbage. I made more than that on the original play when I bought it at $4 and sold it at 16 something dollars per share. So, just tried to get back in thinking there was another bounce to be had, but there's not. It's a piece of trash. Prospect Capital, 317 shares, keeps growing every single month with these dividends we earn. I mean, it's massive dividends. You'll see in the dividend video. Love to see it. But we are down on a per share basis, 11.54% or $250. That definitely hurts. Qualcomm, 6 shares here at Qualcomm. Pretty small position here too. Up $32 or 5%. Not too bad. Rhythm Capital, another one of these REITs, hasn't been performing great. 189.74 shares. We are down $11 or 0.65, so that's pretty well break even where it's at. Starbucks, 10.27 shares here, up $131 or 16%. Not too bad. Schwab, Charles Schwab, been also a piece of garbage, bouncing back down again. 15 shares here, down $17. Not great. Stitch Fix, have another covered call. I'll need to sell here. Off our 100 shares, down $463 or 57%. What a piece of trash. Shopify, this one's been pretty good here for me. Not bad. 60 shares, so it's a pretty big position, a pretty big commitment in my eyes. I just feel pretty good about where this company's going. We're up 17% or $477. Stanley Black & Decker, another boring piece of trash. 10.39 shares. Down $61 since I've held it, or 6.5%. Pretty boring. Target, 11.38, also been performing poorly, which is kind of crazy. I don't know. I think they should be coming back here. But anyways, we're down $95 or 7%. The valuation's cheap on it, let me tell you. Tapestry Brands, 31 shares here. Small position, to be fair. We're up 30% or $208. So wish it was a little bit larger position apparently. So Tesla, we have just our 1.3 share still, so nothing really to report on that one. Up 79%. So good performance here. Yeah, I was just kind of doing that as an experimental play and it worked out. We're just gonna hold on to it, see what happens. Texas Roadhouse, a newer position here for me, as you know. and it's not been going well. 10 shares here. We are down 11% or $126. So kind of bad. You hate to see that. Vici Properties, another one that's been hit quite a bit here in the last month. 52 shares here, but we are down 17%. Sorry, $17 or 1%. I mean, it's really not that bad. Accounting for dividends, we're up there, but that's okay. Walmart Incorporated. Um, Walmart. Walmart. Our biggest position, our largest position we own, and one of our best gainers, too. Um, Second best gainer, which is kind of wild. 64.7 shares here. And that is up $3,300 or 48%. That's been a beaut for me, okay? Then we get into our ETFs here real quick. You'll see the new one we added here probably shortly if you're taking a peek. So DES, this Wisdom Tree Small Cap Dividend ETF. 10 shares there. 2 shares of the iShares Core S&P 500 ETF. JEPI, you know them. Dividend payer here. 48 shares of JEPI. JEPQ, 23.8 shares there. Couple more dividend payers here with KBWD, 109 shares there. KBWY, 81 shares. Performance of share price has been pretty poor, but pay a pretty fat dividend. Unfortunately, it's not been great here. But MGC, the Vanguard Mega Cap Dividend, 5, or Mega Cap ETF, I should say, 5 shares there. 52.39 now of QYLD. 46.87 of SCHD. Love that one. Am happy to have that as my largest ETF I own. SCHX is the position we've been adding here this month. Just started adding it. The Schwab US Large Cap ETF. Been a pretty good performance over the last 5 years. Expense ratio at 0.03. Just feel pretty decent about it. Something to kind of hold down the performance of the portfolio. Feel pretty good about that one. So we only have 6 shares right now, so it's a tiny position, but we'll be adding to it, I assure you. SPHD, 45 shares of SPHD. SPYD, 25 shares here. SPYG, 18 shares. VFH, this Vanguard Financials ETF, has been a stinker, as the financial industry has. 10.24 shares there. VYM, the Vanguard High Dividend ETF, 14.47. And then XYLD, another dividend ETF here at 18.76. And then we got a couple bonds here. About $8,000 worth of bonds and about 4,700 worth of this money market fund here, SWVXX. So not too bad. Around a 5.1% yield, I think. So not too bad. We get into our joint account. Nothing crazy here. We'll just go in it real quick. Most of it's just kind of in our ETFs, as you know. So Apple, 1 share there. 2 of Arbor Realty, tiny. Ford, we just have the 5 shares. Meta, 1 share of Meta. Microsoft, we've got the 1 share. 2 shares of Realty Income. 3 of Vici. Then we get into a couple more. iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF, 5 shares there. JEPI, you'll know that one, 4.2 here. QYLD, 6.2. SCHD, 7. SCHX also has 6 here, which is nice. SPY, 1 share there. SPYD, 3 shares. VIG, the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation ETF, 1 share, and then 7 shares of the Spider Select Strength Financial ETF, which has been a stinker. And then also, $1,000 in a bond, $2,000 in the money market fund. Not too crazy. Our last thing we're touching is going to be our rollover IRA, since we just rolled over a decent chunk of our assets into this from our previous 401k. So you get a kind of a strategy of what I'm doing here, and it's a relatively generic one, kind of trying to do a lot of just market tracking. So, and some income in there, as you see. So Apple, we've got 19.83 shares of Apple. Not too bad. Ford, we ended up buying 100 shares just so we could have the 100 shares so we could sell covered calls on it. Already working pretty well here for us as we sold this one forget it. I gave it's like 13, 14 bucks or something like that. Um, and obviously, I don't think Ford's going to be at $14 by that time. So we'll be able to sell more and more and more, just earn some capital. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Microsoft, 10 shares of Microsoft. Realty income, not as bad terribly here because we bought it a little bit after some of this dip, but 17 shares here, 100 shares of Prospect Capital just for the even number of it. So a lot of income to be had from, really these two here, Realty Income and Prospect Capital. Texas Roadhouse, that's a stinker. 10 shares of that one as well. Then more income here. JEPI, 20 shares here, 20 shares of JEPQ, and 25 shares of SCHD. SPY, we've got 10 shares. So some market tracking here for sure. Our largest position being SPY, just some generic market tracking. And we've got $1,000 in the money market fund. Just trying to earn some income in that one. So, hey, that's what I got for you on this video. We'll be doing the dividends next. Hope you have a great one.